What's going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Zach.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. They say you can't choose your family. Well, you also can't choose which era of music you grew up in. This is a weekly show where we discuss our favorite bands from adolescence and how they continue to shape our lives today. Each week, we'll head back to the early 2000s and take a closer look at the cards we were dealt. All right, everybody, we are here for episode 103. Unfortunately, we are without our co-host and best friend, Zach. But, just the two of us being together, I think it's kind of bittersweet. And
it is bittersweet. And I think, despite the lack of our good friend, Zip, Zarchi, Zachary, Robert Polson, I think this episode just might knock you off your feet.
Oh, well, what episode is going on here?
Wait, do you hear something?
Yeah.
What episode is it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I will tell you, my good man. It's the Click 5 episode.
The Click 5 episode?
That's right, the Click 5 episode. Just the girl I'm looking for. More like just the band I can't remember the name of right now. That's right, we're doing the Click 5.
The Click 5, you say?
That's right, from Massachusetts, the same state that brought us TJ Maxx and Casey Affleck. That's right, we're talking about the Click 5.
Oh my God, the Click 5?
That's right, the Click 5. They're a band in the same way speed walking is an Olympic sport, the Click 5.
The Click 5?
The Click 5. If you're a fan of bands named after rejected titles for the Fellowship of the Ring, you're in luck, because today we're talking about the Click 5.
No way, the Click 5?
The Click 5. Just the girl I'm looking for. More like I'm just looking at the John Tucker Must Die soundtrack, and somehow this is the only bad song on it. The Click 5.
The Click 5.
The Click 5. Just the girl I'm looking for. More like I'm just looking for any Black Eyed Peas song that didn't wind up higher on the Billboard chart in 2005. No, don't lie. There were 3. The Click 5.
The Click 5.
The Click 5. That's right, the Click 5. They did the same thing for Power Pop that Rachel Ray did for daytime television. Not much. The Click 5.
The Click 5.
Yeah, the Click 5. Apologies to Rachel Ray. We're a fan of Rachel Ray on the show. That was a cheap shot at the end there. But, we just got excited. It's the Click 5 episode. Welcome everybody. How are you?
Oh my God, Rachel Ray. God, we gave her some pretty mad shout outs when we talked about your new dog.
Yeah, true.
She's huge supporter of her dog food.
One of my biggest regrets in life came just now when we took a cheap shot at Rachel Ray in the Click 5 episode. Hopefully it landed for some of you out there because I feel really bad about it. But
well, anyway, her. This is the Click 5 episode.
I've been wanting to do this episode for 104 episodes. Tom has finally let me because Zach was a late scratch, unfortunately, and we had no other plans. So I did as much research as I could to make it worthwhile, and I hope you'll enjoy it as much as we enjoyed watching the music video, which we'll get into, similar to our My Chemical Romance episode. And we'll do a little bit of a now you know about the history of the band. But I will start with this before Tom goes into his memories of their hit song, of course, Just the Girl I'm Looking For, which dropped in 2005. You may remember it. I hope you do. We're all here. We probably all have heard that song. So, yes, Spin magazine reviewed Greetings from Ermey House, which was the record that Just the Girl I'm Looking For was on. This is a direct quote. And they didn't pull any punches. The Click 5 isn't even enjoyable in that Ashley Simpson / Kelly Clarkson guilty rock pleasure kind of way, which is pretty rough. Ashley Simpson is actually a band they opened for.
Oh my God.
Including Jesse McCartney and the Backstreet Boys back in the early 2000s when they were touring, which is probably very telling for their career. Because they weren't opening for rock bands at all, or power pop for that matter. I guess you could argue that Ashley Simpson was power pop, except that she wasn't. So there's that. Also, and we'll get into this later, but all of this is so juicy and good. There was like several points of the history of this band that made me like it kind of like we're getting into the 6 degrees of separation of the entire early 2000s, which is why I love this podcast so much. But one of the things was, it's just funny to me, when you look at Wikipedia and you go down year by year, it goes 2006. Interest in the band waned heavily in 2006. Those poor bastards, man. I don't even want it to be, it's a catchy song. They're not the only one-hit wonder to ever exist, but there's something about the name and in that music video. I don't know. I've been talking for too long. I just am excited that you even let me do this. So I just want to hear your take on them, the song, the video, your memories, wherever you want to start, man.
I think this is just like, honestly, the most on-brand episode, if only for the fact that offhand jokes turn into real things on this show. Like
yes.
A full novel.
But also, as we learn later, there's a connection to Fountains of Wayne that really ties it into one of the cornerstones of early 2000s music, which was Paul Schlesinger. And we'll get into that later. But doing this weird thing led us, hopefully by the time we do 100 more episodes of just early 2000 stuff, we kind of have pieced together. It was cool to learn that they didn't even write Just the Girl I'm Looking For. It made it so much better.
I went pretty hard on the Instagram story today.
You did. You were. Yeah, you did.
They've got some pretty terrible matching outfits.
So that was the whole thing, and they started their whole career as like this Beatles knockoff, like smooth, clean cut, the Monkees vibe.
Right.
They were often seen in public, and this is, I don't know if this is pre or post them they started in Boston. They all went to Berkeley, which is like the least rock or punk or whatever, that's barely pop, right? To come from Berkeley. And they all played in Boston, whatever. And then they just started making all these, and then they got famous. And we'll go into the history as we do the Now You Know section later. But yeah, they were rarely seen without their matching suits and their very Beatles-esque haircuts and look and all that. And very polished, I guess, right? Like it wasn't coming from a place of, they were built to be on the pop charts, right? Or built to be on the charts, but they weren't really, I guess you can put the pieces together there. You hit it on the nail on the head, Tom. The look, from the look down, it was strange.
Well, also, they're getting famous built on the back of, at this point, a 30-year-old band's image playing songs you didn't write. Like, it's just so, like, the epitome of manufactured pop music. And
right, the look was built into what they were trying to sell, as opposed to, they weren't exactly banging it. Or I guess they were playing shows around the Boston area, and they earned the attention of some person, like any band would. So I don't want to knock them too hard. But yeah, it was definitely, I think polished might be the best word, right? I don't know if there's actual nail polish involved, but I wasn't able to watch the music video that closely.
Hey, don't knock nail polish, dude. I've got some on right now.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. You got to take care of the cuticles. Nothing wrong with that.
The cutes.
The cutes. We should do a cuticle episode. No.
More cutes.
More cutes. So what's your Click 5 memory, Tom?
So in the Eerie Scene Queen episode, which was 101, I believe, 99? No, 99, I think. I talked about the band Still Frame Sky that was from our music scene. And they were my friends, but I also like kind of idolized them a bit because they were doing what I wish I could have been doing, which is like playing successfully in a local scene. And at one point, their drummer, Josh, was looking for a job, and I was like 17 washing dishes at an Eaton Park, which is a Pittsburgh-based like family diner. Think of like the oval plates with the color ring around the side. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And
Eaton Park is the place for smiles.
It absolutely is. And
they sell cookies in the front by the cash register with actual smiley faces. It's very endearing. Actually, can you put in the show notes their old Christmas episode where the tree reaches down to star itself in the snow?
Oh, I will find that.
Because I was traveling through PA to my cousin's wedding, and I saw that they were selling crew neck sweatshirts with that image, like the panels from the commercial. I was like, you sons of bitches, you almost had me. You almost got me. If you've ever been to Perkins, I think that's comparable. It's like Pennsylvania's Bob Evans, maybe, but with more smiley cookies. That's probably it.
With more smiles.
Yes, well, it's the place for smiles. Anyway, we're way off track.
In a midnight buffet on the weekends, sure, and unlimited coffee. So anyway, this dude that I kind of like idolized, I was like trying to get him a job as a dishwasher with me, and I was just thinking like, man, we're going to become best friends.
Which is the dopest 2000s music sentence I've ever heard in my life. This dude I idolized, I was really trying to get him a job dishwashing with me.
So,
no disrespect, but sorry.
So I was calling him one day in order to like, I don't know, line up some interview or something. And I don't know if you remember ringback tones. I forgot about these until I was thinking about this yesterday.
Yeah, yours was Chiodos for like 4 years.
Was it?
I think so.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I remember at one point my mom being like, oh, you switched it to some Christmas like string quartet song. And she was like so happy, which maybe it did come from the Chiodo song, but it was just like you would pay $2 a year. And when you called someone, you would hear music instead of a ringtone.
Yeah, yours was Instant Airwaves for a while as well.
Oh my God. My mom was like, thought I did it on my own accord. It was just like the song expired and Verizon put it to whatever. But anyway, Josh Seymour's song was Just the Girl. And I remember it being the first time I heard the song. And again, idolized these dudes, right? So I was like...
Yeah. Well, they were really fun to hang out with. I remember he was at the house. Zach recorded the vocals to The Truce on. Yeah. He was always just really friendly. All those Still Frame Sky dudes were top-notch friendly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Very cool.
Incredible. So I heard the song and I was like, this is the best song ever because it's Josh Seymour's. Must be his favorite song because it's his ringback tone. He paid $2 for the year. And I remember like Googling the lyrics. Like, I've got to find this song so I know what it is in case it ever comes up.
Which words should I Google to make sure it comes up? Just the girl I'm looking for. Yes, that should do it.
So I think of standing in my mom's room on my Motorla RAZR calling Josh Seymour about a urgent dishwashing job.
I can't laugh because I was cooking hot dogs at a ballpark while this was occurring. So there's no, yeah, but that's fucking awesome. I do want to do a breakdown of the lyrics at some point.
I got to pull it
now
up
if you'd like. Oh, you already? Oh, well, take us away, my good man. Oh, we did this in the Hanson Mmmbop Power Hour. If you haven't heard it, it's a good one. You can go ahead and check it out. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, perhaps, obviously. So we've been knocking them pretty hard already. We haven't even gotten into the embarrassing parts of the whole stuff. I guess we kind of have, but oh God, the music video portion of this is going to be brutal. But it was catchy. They obviously made it. Their music video was getting played on the channels that people watched them on back in the day, Fuse, things like that, right? When you say the height of its popularity, whether ironically or not, it was not on Josh Seymour's radar enough to have it. So do you think in the moment people knew, everybody knew and was in on it? Or do you think there was an actual moment where people were like, I guess this could be a direction we're headed in? Because it was an absolute Wild West show after the 90s, like colorful pants, DJ Jazzy Jeff stuff wore off. And I don't think people knew how to well, people are straightening their hair and this is more of a Beatles thing. Part of me wants to believe that for a minute people accepted it before it became so, the music video dropped and it became so wildly obvious that these dudes were just accidentally famous.
I mean, I remember it being in a lot of places. You mentioned the band's popularity waning in 2006. On our Instagram story, they let you like embed music. This song didn't even come up with the Instagram story, but their cover of like Oh Holy Night did or something. I don't know if that's telling of anything. But
they rebranded. I guess the lead singer left and they rebranded and came out with some more music. And I think there's a song called Jenny that's their second most listened to song on Spotify. And let's just focus on the Spotify stuff for a quick second before we hit the lyrics to Just the Girl I'm Looking For. On Spotify, they made playlists, and I wanted to title the episode this, Monsters of Power Pop, an oral history of Just the Girl I'm Looking For. But they made a playlist called Monsters of Power Pop, which blew me away, but also, so like, Just the Girl I'm Looking For has like 20 million listens. And then the next song is called Jenny, and Jenny has maybe 6, right? So there's like the one, and then there's like a few, there's like 5 to 7 million on Spotify listens on maybe 3 to 4 other songs, which I thought was interesting because they did rebrand and give it another effort before. So, oh my God, I'm going to save this all for the history. Let's do the lyrics. But there's a cool growth of social media thing they did as they wrote notes to their fans through their turbulent band history. That's a tease for later, I guess. But we got to do the lyrics. We got to do something first so we can get to the other stuff and do it right.
All right, so here we go. Verse 1. after a shredding guitar solo right out of the gate.
Right.
She's cold and she's cruel, but she knows what she's doing. So I don't know if he's like insinuating that people who are cold and cruel typically don't know what they're doing. The word.
Well, as Haley might say, it's easy if you do it right. Playing the game, that is, and we all know what the game is.
Please inform me.
I have no idea, but go listen to our Paramore episode because that was another good one. Anyway, she pushed me in the pool at our high school reunion. So they're writing this pop song not from the perspective of a high school student, which is uncommon, I might argue.
Sure.
Right? So this is an adult person talking about a girl very much as if he's a sophomore in high school. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
So they are at least 5 years removed, or even maybe even 10 years removed from high school era crush songs, writing a high school era crush song. And picture the scene at the 10-year where an adult 30-year-old pushes another into a pool, because obviously it's a pool party and not at some bar in the hometown from the small high school they all went to, right? So, hey, let's rent out the VFW, or hey, let's go to that bar. They have an upstairs. We can open the bar, have free drinks, with $10 a head, whatever. No, they had a pool party, of course, and she pushed him into it during, and he just can't help but fall in love with her.
Well, don't give away the chorus.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. You're right. I apologize. I should be more professional. I'll finish off this first verse. She laughs at my dreams, but I dream about her laughter.
Weak.
It's pretty cold. Strange as it seems, he's admitting it. He's self-aware.
Sure, yep.
As he's in the pool, soaking wet, surrounded by people he knew 10 years ago, but hasn't talked to since, and of all age, and some are balding, and it's all very strange. Strange as it seems, she's the one I'm after. And that's the first verse. That's a lot to take in, just from an age range standpoint of them being at a reunion. But you want to take away the chorus?
Well, yeah, I will. But it just came to my attention.
Yeah, please, by all means.
That a year ago from, I think this month, will be our 10-year high school reunion.
Mm-hmm.
So do we reenact this music video?
Oh, God, dude. I can't wait to do the music video right after the lyrics, because it is so... Also, the name of the teacher in the music video is the name of one of the producers that were with them since the Boston days, which I thought was at least an interesting thing, in the sense that also the character in the music video, so they land on the roof of the high school in a helicopter, and the teacher, they all rush to the roof. Like, this opening scene's of them in his classroom. They show the nameplate, and he's like, yeah, so famous author that we all should be learning about, and it's like, literature is important. It's not even a dumb lesson. It's like a very important English lesson. Right. And it's like, they all run out of his classroom to go to the roof. And the side-by narrative, other than the band playing and them on the roof, is him looking for them the whole time. Just like, dude, are you like, they ran out of your room to attend the concert on the roof. And there's also in the music video a teacher that has plaster falling on his face. So like, the building's obviously structurally not sound, and the teacher's just like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I lost them all. I don't know where they went. It's a fucking ghost town in here. These Beatles lookalikes just showed up out of fucking nowhere. There's 3 helicopters in the air or something. Like, they were only in the one, but there's 2 other ones that are flying within distance enough to ruin the audio of the entire concert. But people keep jumping around enough to break the roof through, with all this drywall falling down on poor Mr. Deneen's face, or whatever the fuck his name is. Oh
my God.
Sorry, I went straight into the music video stuff. It's too juicy. All of it is too... They're like the most delicious one-hit wonder, I might argue, of the last 25 years. And maybe this is one of those only true 2000s kids will understand things, but everything about it, step by step, going through it, was so just delightful to even consume in every aspect. From the matching suits to the matching haircuts to the nonsensical narratives of the music video. Anyway, we haven't even got to the chorus of the song. No. Please take it away. This is
barely through the verse.
Very catchy song. I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't enjoy it or would like, Tommy Boy moment, keep it on the radio when it comes on. Like, I won't change it if you won't type thing, right? But yeah, take it away.
Yeah, the chorus is obviously what we're all here for. He kills the falsettos, catchy melody. What can you do?
Credit where credit's due.
Because she's bittersweet. She knocks me off my feet.
Literally into the pool.
Someone felt the need to put a little side note here explaining what that line means on this chorus.
Oh, yeah. Genius lyrics. Yeah, this isn't exactly Twista, right? Like, there's no... Is that like, I'm the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the dope scene? What? It's like, these aren't methamphetamine lyrics or anything like that. This isn't Cocoa Butter Kisses by chance. This is very much a pop song that needs... But please, what is the note?
She's bittersweet in the way she's cruel to him. But the speaker still adores her to the point where he's caught off guard.
Oh, yeah, dude. Everything. I hate even being cruel or laughing because of the joy they've brought the world, quite honestly.
Oh God.
Because they didn't ask for any of this. They just played music. Or I guess they did, maybe.
They just showed up in matching suits one day.
Yeah, really. And just took the world by storm for only 12 calendar months. And I can't help myself. I don't want anyone else.
Yep.
So he's very taken by her, obviously.
Yep.
He can't take... She's messing with him in such a way that his mind can't even focus on anyone else, right? She's a mystery, obviously, why she acting this way. The genius lyrics helped us with that, of course. She's too much for me, so he's just feeling a little like, oh, gosh, should I even go for this, right? Even though I obviously want to. But I keep coming back for more, right? He's hung up on this girl, right? And she's just the girl he's looking for. Ends on a great rhyme. They're not forcing words into it. Obviously, the song's written by the Fountains of Wayne bassist, who's a music legend, early 2000s legend. He wrote That Thing You Do for the 90s movie that we all know and love,
amazing.
At least if you're from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It's in my top 5, it's in my top 3, it's in my top 2, right? It's just a fundamentally good film. There was a tweet I saw when researching this show, like, it's so dumb that, hold on, is it Paul Schlesinger? I lost my notes. But they said, he's such a stupid good songwriter that Hollywood was like, hey, we need a song that's similar to the Beatles and like good enough to base an entire movie around. He was like, yeah, no problem. And everyone loves that song. So I think the one thing we can say about the Click 5 is that their hit song written by him is a good pop song. It's a good power pop song. It's a typical high school crush song, even though if you take a close look at the lyrics, obviously they're the high school reunion, of course. So there's nothing wrong with the songwriting. They performed it well. The falsetto was on point. It was a good one-hit wonder, I think. Can we say that?
Yeah. I mean, the lyrics are kind of in the verses.
Well, I think...
But...
I was so glad to find out that it was written by Fountains of Wayne guy because, he wrote That Thing You Do. He wrote High School Never Ends by Bowling for Soup. He wrote, obviously, Stacy's Mom, which is an early 2000s classic.
Oh, man.
Which should be another one-hit wonder episode, quite frankly, because I'd love to do a Paul Schlesinger appreciation pod. Because,
let's do it, yeah. 100%.
Because he's honestly a legend, right? He actually did some work I found out when doing research for the show that he worked... have you seen the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
No.
It's like a musical comedy starring... Oh, gosh. I knew I was shit. I'd written her name down. But... it's a very good musical comedy that I think it's done 3 or 4 seasons or so.
Rachel Bloom?
Yeah, okay. So Rachel Bloom, if you Google her name, you'll probably see Crazy Ex-Girlfriend stuff, but she wrote this like music video in college or whatever called like F*** Me Ray Bradbury, the guy who wrote Fahrenheit 451. So like she was doing really funny music video spoofs from the start. And so she has this show where she gets to do exactly that and sing these hilarious songs. She moves to California to be with, she's the crazy ex-girlfriend in the show. And the show takes a lot of twists and turns, but it's mostly just very fun and very funny. And he did some work with that show. And if you watch the show or you get into it after listening to this, you'll notice that the music's very good. And he collaborated with some of them on certain seasons for some of the songs there. So Paul Schlesinger, we should do an appreciation pod with him.
Wow. Respect.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that makes me want to enjoy this song even more. And yes, should we blow through the rest of the lyrics because we're getting more out of it than we thought we would?
Yeah. So
Okay.
verse 2, and there's actually a good explanation on here with Genius.com, Genius Lyrics or whatever. She can't keep a secret for more than an hour. Quality, sure.
A high school quality. Again, they're 28.
True. She runs on 100 proof attitude power.
Okay, that's this. Is that where they had the explanation? Please, because I've never heard that lyric correctly. I'm seeing it correctly for the first 100 proof attitude power.
Okay, so from this unreviewed annotation by Mike Richard, 100 proof alcohol means 50% alcohol content.
Sure, I'm with you there.
So the singer is saying she has attitude 50% or half of the time, which can be hard to handle. This goes along with the she's bittersweet line. Okay, so
Gotcha.
she's got like half attitude, half...
Dare I say she's intoxicating? I think I dare.
Wow.
I think I dare.
Let's bring that drum roll sample back.
Yes. Okay, so the more she ignores me, the more I adore her.
Sure,
right?
typical, right?
Falsetto. What can I do? I do anything for her. He goes so high. So high.
And you just nailed it.
Oh, well, I didn't, but thank you. And then, of course, blah, blah, blah.
Chorus.
Chorus knocks me off my feet. Can't help myself. He's caught up in it. Who wouldn't be? With 100 proof altitude. I thought it was altitude power. I'm like, what the
The way she sees it's me on her caller ID.
Oh, this is the bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is, okay.
Such a
Come on, Schlesinger. No, he's on it.
Such a newfangled thing in 2005. I still remember the day I got caller ID. It blew my fucking mind.
But you had the RAZR, right when the RAZR was like peak cool. I was very jealous, I got to say.
I went through 4 of them in a year and a half, though, because they kept breaking.
You could snap them good. They were twig-like. They were twig-like in the sense that they could be snapped. So.
No, they just totally shit the bed, dude.
Right. Oh, that too. And they were... It wasn't even the RAZR part that was bad. They were just wired wrong. It went from like the block you see on Seinfeld to the smallest thing they could make that wasn't even good. Oh God. Before iPod pre-iPhone at this point? Maybe. I might have more years on it,
man. Yeah,
struggle.
no. It was post-iPod, pre-iPhone for sure.
Gotcha. No, Nokia, at least a third of the population still was rocking Nokia, if that tells you anything. Playing Snake on it like true champions of the... When aliens come and dig through the rubble, they're going to be like, people were playing Snake on Nokias? Those freaking Neanderthals. Like, man, that was really roughing it for sure.
Oh, man.
Shout out to to landing on Mars.
Yeah.
Again.
Dope.
Very cool.
I cried.
Yeah.
Watched the whole thing. When she sees it's me on her caller ID, she won't pick up the phone. She'd rather be alone. Makes a relationship difficult, not being together. I get that. But I can't give up just yet.
So this is the part where he's like pursuing her a little too hard though, maybe, right? Like, has she given him any signs at all that she might be a good romantic partner?
It's a little
willing
obsessive,
romantic partner.
yeah.
So that takes it's becoming clear that's like, man, why don't you stop calling her, bud? Like, it's not sending. But he wants to not give up, which again, this is where the bridge is not, it's a pop song. It's a pop song. Every word she's ever said is still ringing in his head. So she's physically accosted him and he's repeatedly calling her. And he can't, this kind of reminds me of the movie Taxi in a weird way. Talking to me? No. She's cold and she's scrolling, know what she's doing, blah, blah, blah. Still ringing in my head.
Knows just what to say, so my whole day is ruined.
Yeah, she's actively trying to give him signs that she's not interested, right? Can we at least come to those conclusions?
Yeah.
There was an assault. That would warrant a police report if somebody had called the cops in that situation. I think if the ex-treasurer of the high school class reunion said, can somebody, get on the phone. Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. You know what I mean? Like, cops would have put that on paper and it would be on the record, right?
They would have put in that.
They would have placed it. Putting
it. I know.
I've been listening to too much Action Bronson. He talks about putting in baklava all the fucking time. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
So after this, it's just like the early 2000s repeating the last lines of the chorus as everything fades out. Whatever. It's done.
So we'll do the Now You Know real quick and then hit the music video and then see where we're at.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the Click 5, often abbreviated TC5, I don't know about
Never
that,
seen that in my life.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Wikipedia. Was an American rock band from Boston. Thank you, Boston, for all you've done. The original members, most of them students at Berkeley, not a great rock look. It started on January 1st, 2004, on New Year's Day, because, of course, that's such a stupid day to start a band.
Hey, that's the day that I started dating Stephanie.
Whoa. Well, a lot of very monumental parts of American culture started that.
Things that fizzled out super quickly but kept going on longer than they should.
Turn up the heat.
For years.
Yeah, that's right. And I ended up watching Dan in real life at the Dollar Theater with you because of that relationship, which I might argue with Stephen Carell and Dan Cook is a red boxable movie. I'll say that. And we'll have to do a Dan in real life episode because we got a lot to say, but that's not this episode, so we're going to keep moving on. They quickly gained attention when talent scout Wayne Sharp, the Click 5 made their first recording. It was a 2-song demo, early 2004, after a successful local touring around Boston. They ended up hooking up with the right people to end up releasing their debut album. They're obviously making some noise. Greetings from Ermey House, which Spin did not review kindly, was released in 2005. The second song on that record, I believe, was Just the Girl I'm Looking For. Significant commercial success with their first album in the U.S., and the second release was met with extreme popularity in Asian countries such as Cambodia and the Philippines, according to Wikipedia.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. In total, the band has sold 2 million albums worldwide and have created 8 number one singles in 7 different nations. That's very interesting. A lot of success out east, it would seem. But, you can't really wrap your head around in high school when you see this one band's music video on Fuse. They have this whole life where they toured and were successful, internationally and things like that. And wow, damn. One-hit wonders, though. That's why That Thing You Do is such a good movie. And we should do a pod on that. But anyway, album brought widespread commercial success, selling 350,000 copies in the U.S., took 15th place on the Billboard 200 charts almost immediately. According to the Boston Globe, the hometown newspaper, they, quote, saturated the media in several Asian countries as well, including Cambodia. Amy Doyle, then MTV vice president, remarked, "I can see screaming girls in their future. I see them having to wear disguises." So they were hot. Can we say they were hot? They were hot.
Wow.
2005. Big year for the Click 5 anyway. Many stores stocked various Click 5 items such as lunchboxes, backpacks, trading cards, and hair gel line. I'm assuming that is definitely a real Wikipedia line. I didn't see the annotation there, but I'm sure Hot Topic was all over it. The band spent late 2005 and early 2006 opening for acts, and this is what got me. I even bolded it on the Google Doc.
Sure did.
Opening for Ashley Simpson, Alanis Morissette, the Backstreet Boys, and Jesse McCartney, as well as touring both by itself and in collaboration with Big City Rock. They also performed at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in November 2005, singing Catch Your Wave, which I'm not sure is accurate because I looked at the lineup for Thanksgiving Day Parade 2005. Perhaps there's a side stage situation or something, but I don't know if that's true. Nonetheless, they weren't exactly opening for other rock bands that were popular at the time. The Ashley Simpson tour and Jesse McCartney tour, which I looked up and appears to be accurate, is very telling, right? It's more pop than power, I think, to say the least.
Sure.
Mike Deneen, the Boston-based producer of Fountains of Wayne, who agreed to help them produce the 2-song demo. Deneen is actually the name of the teacher in the music video, like I mentioned. Later in their, after they waned down and stuff, he said Atlantic was unwilling to let them become a real, quote, real band. This is Deneen, the Boston dude that helped them, that had worked with Fountains of Wayne, probably how they met Schlesinger, things like that. So they couldn't let them become a real band, which is what the guys wanted, with them calling the shots. They didn't have a chance to write songs and develop, he said. That's a quote from Deneen, the Boston-based Fountains of Wayne producer-type dude that worked with them. Basically, they were a polished product. They wanted to try to do more, but they're like, no, you just sing the f***ing song Schlesinger wrote and you'll be popular in Cambodia, whatever, right? They tried to reboot in 2007, emphasizing new wave and deliberately retro influences with the use of more synthesizers. Yeah, it faded, right? They weren't doing too much. So lead singer Eric Dill left the band in February 2007. The remaining 4 members released an official statement of their departure in March on their MySpace page, stating that, quote, "We know he will be missed by many and we wish him the best success in his other endeavors." Very telling of the times. Flip phones, concerts on the roofs of high schools, MySpace page announcements about band happenings. Do you have any thoughts on the MySpace thing?
I missed it.
It was a spot for music
man.
news and Dane Cook being in your top 8 friends. I mean, it was a place, right?
I miss it for sure.
You miss MySpace.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a MySpace pod.
Facebook sucks now, dude.
Well, MySpace sucked at the end too.
Everyone's just mad.
Everyone is very upset. I will say this. I will say I liked when one of your friends would get rid of MySpace and you would only have 7 of the 8 spots filled. It was like a workaround. You'd be like, yeah, that's right. I don't have the full 8. Like, I don't even care. Anyway.
So the thing that
yes.
really needs to be talked about here is the music video, of course, which...
Yeah, sorry. There's not, bittersweet is the word in the song, and it's a word that they felt, obviously, about how the whole thing went down. They wanted more things, more like freedom to do their stuff. Obviously, the label was like, nah, why don't you wear the fucking suits and sing this song? In 2007, with that revamped lineup, they toured with the Black Eyed Peas and stuff like that, which bested them 3 times over on the 2005 Billboard chart. Anyway, yeah, let's do the music video. But that's the Now You Know. I know I blew through it. Tom does a better job at that, but I just made a few not quick notes, but that's the story, right? Somebody saw them, put them in suits. They were famous for a year, and only a year. The end. There was a MySpace announcement about the lead singer leaving.
But bless them, they tried.
Yeah, God bless them. I mean, honestly, what else did you do in 2005? Not much else going on, I guess. Or I guess there was a lot. It was a good year for movies, actually, as I was looking at.
All right, so the music video.
Yeah, but take it away. I've been talking for too long.
Whew. It is about as 2005 as it could be. Pat already kind of launched into a little bit, but yes, it starts off with like the 18 seconds of storytelling, I guess, right? Pre-roll before the song comes in. The teachers desperately trying to get people to learn about Hemingway, and just no one cares.
Hemingway, right? Like it's
Right.
It's not like chloroform, like an Adam Sandler thing. It's not like, so Hemingway, they're all like, ugh.
And then the click 5 comes in a fucking helicopter.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like no one notices this, except for like a couple students are like, is that a military grade helicopter landing on the roof of our school? Oh, I think it might be. I definitely perked up. Hemingway wasn't doing it for me.
Where they already have a designated landing pad on a high school.
Sure. Yeah. Well, obviously the drywall there wasn't built for it, as we see. Also, have I been saying Adam Schlesinger the whole time?
I don't know.
I've probably gotten the first name wrong, and I feel bad about that. We'll have to listen to it back through, but I think I've been f***ing up his name this whole time.
Give me a couple samples of Adam, and I'll splice it in.
Okay. Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger.
Perfect. Got it.
Not even close. Adam Schlesinger.
Schlesinger.
Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger. Yeah, we'll see. Good luck. Godspeed. Or can I just record this for the beginning of the episode? Hello, fans of Reminiscent. Throughout this episode of Reminiscent, I butchered the name of Adam Schlesinger, he is a prolific songwriter from the early 2000s, even dating back to the mid-90s with the movie That Thing You Do. He wrote that song. Anyway, apologies to him and to everyone involved with this episode. Thank you.
I'm not editing any of that.
You do what you got to do. Okay, so Deneen, the producer, Boston dude, is the name of the teacher in the music video, which is a cool callback, whatever. If you're a fan of the band, I'm sure you love that. So the people leave the classroom and go to the roof, and there's a shot where the crowd triples in seemingly seconds, right? And then you see Deneen race out into the hallway after they've come out of the helicopter, and they start singing the song, right? She's cold and she's cool. And then there's a moment between the keyboardist and the bassist where they just kind of rub shoulders.
God. Oh.
It's so cringeworthy. So like we've talked about that thing where people roll over people's backs, right? Or like they do spins.
Yeah.
In the Paramore episode, we talked about it in depth. This is the opposite of any of those things. This is the polar worst, most awful rock band move in the history of rock band moves. It's almost like a middle-aged mother leaning over to her sister at their niece's wedding to say, "Oh, this is nice." That's all that is. And it's like very not rock and roll.
God, is it Family Guy where they're like, up next on Shovin' Buddies? Remember that?
I think they might have been spoofing Scrubs or something at the time. Or no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, just like people like crossing their arm, like Turkmite or something. Anyway.
It was like scripted buddyism, and it was so weird. It was so weird, which just adds to the manufactured feel for me.
Right. Like you have your Smile Guy with the haircut. Just show Smile Guy with the haircut. Like we all know what this is. I don't need to know what the keyboardist is relationship with the bassist. Right? Like that's, I guess maybe like they only put the one cut in, but I'm like, even one's a bit.
Oh God. Yeah. So the teacher seemingly, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes after kids start leaving his classroom, he just realizes everyone's gone. He looks out in the hallway and it's empty.
The classroom that he was teaching in with all of them in at the beginning. He's like, wait a minute. Like something's up. Where'd they go? I think, there's a flip phone in the music video. There's a lot of large belts, I guess, whatever. You can watch it. You'll be reminded of what people were dressed like at the time. This is an audio forum. How are we going to really describe that? There's a flip phone.
We cannot gloss over the flip phone, though.
Okay, that's a good point because, it kind of ushered in this era of filming everything, right? Or, I mean, I don't want to credit the music video with doing that, but it was kind of like, oh, we've been doing that for that long? Like not just watching something, but rather recording everything just because we can type thing. Did you get that vibe?
I didn't. And because my first thought was, after doing the Avril episode, she had a lot of native product placement in her videos, upwards of 4 or 5 in one video. And it was the camera shows into the crowd, a guy's holding a flip phone, and then it shows the camera from the crowd up to the band, and it shows the photo that he just got on his flip phone. And it was so obviously product placement. Look what our camera can do. Our phone can take pictures, and I remember when that was revolutionary, if they're on Atlantic Records, Atlantic is going to try to milk them for anything they can. So they're going to get product placement. And it was just so obvious because Avril did that with a little point and shoot digital camera in one of her videos, and it had the Sony label so big in focus on it.
Yeah. The point and shoot. Yep. A relic of the time.
So I just thought that was funny and just oh God, right in the middle of the video.
Yep. Right, because there's only so many shots. One of them was already an awful bassist keyboardist moment. So you're just you want to just show some of the tech of that era? I mean, people are going to look back on this and laugh, right? So let's do what they want to see in 2018. Very forward thinking there. I will say my last music video thought would be that they brought in a second teacher for Plaster to fall on instead of Deneen getting it. There's just some chubby librarian sweater looking type that gets just plaster all over his face, which must be a tough, not even commercial credit to go back home to at Thanksgiving and be like, hey, how's LA? I got plaster sprinkled on me in some One Hit Wonders music video.
Yeah, tough, I thought that was tough. So bizarre. Just this random person who had appeared no other time in the video was all of a sudden there.
And Deneen didn't run into him in his search. It's hey, what's going on? He's probably something on the roof. More than 2 helicopters and several thousand students jumping on the roof. I think I've whittled it down to that. Yeah.
Yeah, there were all of a sudden so many helicopters in the air. And I just, from this time, there were so many videos of bands arriving in a really inconvenient place, and then they plug in their instruments, they start playing, and then just throngs of children appear. And first of all, they were performing on the helicopter landing pad, which just seemed dangerous. Those helicopters had nowhere to go, right? They took their only spot.
And again, they were in the airspace, and doubt they got cleared to fly over an urban area like that. 2, they were close enough to the concert to ruin the audio entirely. 3, there was a second and fucking third helicopter. The band fit in the first one. They did it slow motion. It was very obvious. They just climbed right out of it. It was a botched operation. I'm sure they went way over budget. That's all I can say.
But what bothers me is I think it sets up unreal expectations for what it's like to be in a band. You just drop in unannounced, right? There's no flyers, there's no MySpace event, no social media marketing,
way fewer
promotion
helicopters
whatsoever, and there's just hundreds of people there. So I give the realism of this music video a 0 out of 10, purely in terms of marketing and promotion. Think of like Feeling This by Blink-182, Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy, Simple Plan with I'm Just a Kid. They stop in the middle of a bridge, stopping traffic, and everyone comes running through the lanes to see this band. Like, where were these children before? Like,
yeah, I'm feeling this is they're in a cage match in the middle of a jail and there's children everywhere.
And they're like climbing the fence to try to see them. Like,
right, like 14-year-olds are trying to make out through prison glass during their hour to talk to somebody every month. Like, what dystopian weird ass future is this, Tom DeLonge? Cut your hair. Pull your guitar strap up. You're fucking making a fool of yourself.
Hey, he has pretty bad back problems because of that now.
Well, hey, I'm sure he does. It wasn't punk enough to worth, like we want to see you tour, man. Like take care of your back. Do
but
yoga.
I think that whole thing is weird of that era where band shows up, several different beatdown cars. They set up where there's obviously no electricity to plug in your instruments. Right? It's like every grindcore band in the middle of the desert or something.
Oh God. Your notes, yeah, thank you. Thank you for indulging me, is what I want to say about this whole episode. Yes, it was quite nonsensical from the first verse on until the music video was made.
But just the cuts of the teacher, like, so cluelessly looking down the hallway is just, it's bad.
I don't know. I just somehow missed them leave. I'm pretty sure they're gone. I could go check the room again, I guess. Yeah, so parting thoughts on the legacy. I will say this about One Hit Wonders. Fun, right? We've always obviously got crazy enjoyment. The falsettos were on point. The song was written by a trusted songwriter of at least one of the ones we were stuck with in the early 2000s, which is the whole basis of the show. And if you're just joining us, that's the whole basis of the show, is figuring out whether it was a good or bad music decade. Basically because our boomer parents are just like, man, the 70s were so good to grow up in, and for music, it was like, oh yeah, Led Zeppelin's good. I hadn't heard. I was like, yeah, of course. So we're just trying to delve through the wreckage of what we had to come up with. This is a very interesting corner of that space. I'm thankful that we got to experience it and then revisit it, because obviously the laughs we've had here today are great, but also they faded out at an appropriate speed, and we didn't have to hear from them again, which was very right for how quality the song was that they didn't even write.
I agree entirely on everything. I'm glad they existed for that song. I feel sorry that they may have felt tortured in their one-hit wonderness, but...
Would it have been worse? Like, would their hit have even been better, and would it have even been worse had they had full artistic control? I don't know what the Boston bar scene is like in terms of what they had going energy-wise that led them to this thing, that led them to this hit, that led, Yeah,
it'll be interesting to hear the songs they were writing before they got signed and had people writing their songs for them.
Yeah, follow-up pod, man.
Yeah.
No,
we'll get Dill on the podcast to tell his side of the story.
He might, and honestly, that would be our biggest get. So. A little bit of humility as we totally rag on someone who didn't do anything but try to write a catchy song. That's it for me, man. Honestly, this was just, thanks for indulging me. I had a lot of fun. We'll get back to regularly scheduled programming next week.
Damn, that is hard to say.
Maybe we will do the 2001 mixtape draft. Who's to say?
Might be a little soon.
Let's do another band.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out a band, and maybe we'll do the rapid fire start like we did this week, because that was fun, at least for us. So if you liked it, tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. If you have a suggestion for a band that got started or was famous during the early 2000s, let us know what you'd like to hear. We'd love to accommodate anything you'd like to hear, right?
Yeah.
Because it's mostly just fun for us to hang out because we're childhood friends. So let us know which direction you want us to head in. We have yet to make it out of 2000, 2001. So as we work through the decade, well, I guess we just did a 2005er here, but it was a passion project for me, quite frankly.
And starting next week, we're going to be kind of sporadically reading our Apple Podcast reviews. People say that the reviews matter. I don't think they really do, but we had a really funny review written, a couple months ago that I want to see if someone can top it, because it got a giggle for sure. Do you want to give our song of the week and then we can get out of here?
Let's just get out of here. We're gonna do a pod Carnage after this. If you haven't listened to that, go for it.
Let's do song of the week. I got a good one. I got one I really want to do.
Okay, I don't. So go as hard into it as you want, and I will try to desperately open Spotify and give you another one.
John.
Last winter, I recommended the song Doomsday by Architects. They are a band from UK, and they are pretty heavy, right? But their vocalist has like this really interesting scream where it's kind of like pitched to what someone would be singing. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of bands out there that do it, but I haven't heard many like it. I totally missed their release, but they put out the full album finally last week, and it's called Holy Hell. And it's about one of their band members passing away, and his brother is still in the band and wrote many of the lyrics. So it's like super heavy music, but like filled with so much emotion that I think we spoke about it last week, that it's been hard to connect with music on the same level, and this band like really gets it out of me. Again, it's like I connect more with like the depressing, sad stuff, but the whole album's really good, and I've only given it about 4 or 5 spins, but the song Holy Hell is just really good.
When it takes you back to that place of sadness, you talked on the show a little bit about, and last week you did an episode about our musical tastes changing. You got into Linkin Park at an early teen part in your life where, pain was coming from multiple, whatever.
Yeah.
Does it suck to like only be able to get into music in maybe 80 to 90% of the time, from what I've heard? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, do you hate that you have to go to a certain place to get really into certain things, or is that just part of your music? Like, do you still get joy out of it, I guess, when you really connect with the song, even if it's sad, is my real question.
I mean, I feel self-conscious about it, right?
Sure.
But there's also this thing where like the One Years was my favorite band for a long time, and at some point it was like, I really want to hear something other than him singing about his anxiety. Like,
well, what's weird about that, and we should do when we make it, maybe if we're doing this for years, we should do a pod about the upsides, because it's like, cool, I've been sad for like ever. And, this album's literally called The Upsides. He talks about all that stuff nobody's ever really talking about in a way he's talking about it. But then, when they come out with 2 or more 3 albums, you're like, yeah, all right. We've been there. Thanks for helping me so much. But it's weird if you're even guilty. You feel guilty as a fan even wanting more from them because of how much they did with just that one album.
Right. But anyway.
Sorry. Super aside.
No. The song Holy Hell is good. It's just super emotionally intense. The singing, the screaming, all of it is just awesome, and it's really heavy. It's just, I feel like it's a really big flex of like all their capabilities into one song. So
cool. I'll keep this quick. Weezer's coming out with the Black Album in May or March next year, one of the M months. They dropped a music video for Can't Knock the Hustle, and they came out with Die You Zombie Bastards. I don't know if that's the official name of it. Zombie Bastards, maybe? Yeah, it's just Zombie Bastards. I was watching YouTube videos of Rivers Cuomo's acoustic sets over the past few months to try to see if he had played any originals. There was one that they thought was going to be on the Black Album, and I listened to it and I thought it was really good. And then they came out with those, and I don't know. I'm scared.
Oh,
but it's not my song of the week. I'm just nervous. Just because I love them so much. I saw them in Austin. I've seen them like 6 or 7 times live, as I've mentioned. They're my favorite band, whatever. It's not important. But it is important for the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
They were like older in the Austin show, that you could feel that they were older performing live. They're just older dudes. So it's like, I can see how it would be tough. I mean, Can't Knock the Hustle is just about Uber existing. So it's kind of like, it's catchy and the lyrics are strange. So it's got some Weezer elements there, but it's just like, I don't know if this is it, man. I just don't know. So am I going to listen to the whole song? Am I going to buy it? I don't know. We all need something. I like the Browns and I like Weezer, and I'm going to probably buy it and listen to it a lot. The White Album was a good payoff for that. But then Pacific Daydream was not necessarily. So Anyway, you know what we should do an episode on that we shouldn't, but I just want to do it in my head, and I do it in my head every day, or at least once a month. Would you attend a concert where they didn't play any songs off Pinkerton and Blue? I would, for sure. I think there's a lot on Red and White that would make that a fun show, but neither here nor there. Not my song of the week, just something I want people to check out and maybe tweet at us and tell me what they think about where Weezer's at. And they wasted a really good color on what might end up being a super shitty album. We'll see.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, Black albums are...
I mean, that's a statement color, right? The White album, it's already been a Beatles album, so it's like, thank God that was good. It was a good beachy, fun, poppy album. But anyway, yeah, let's end this. We're about an hour. So thanks, everybody. This was super fun. Tom, thank you specifically for letting me even go down this road with you. I've been waiting, honestly, months to do this, and it was really fun. Thanks.
Yeah, of course, man. Anything for you. Love you, man.
Love you too. Bye, everybody.
See ya. Oh my God, what an episode. Thank you all so much for being here. Show notes for this episode can be found at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/103. And we got friends everywhere buying t-shirts at reminiscentpodcast.com/shop. Let us know your favorite Click 5 song on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. Talk to you guys later. Love you.